Hey there, YouTube friends. Maskedbandit here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I always do appreciate it. And we have a gaming video back on the channel. It's been a long time since I've had any gaming on the channel, and probably not the game you were expecting. Unless, of course, you follow me on Twitter. Then I hinted that this may be coming. Speaking of which, consider following me on Twitter. Consider liking and subscribing to the video. And all that razzmatazz. Hi, it's good to be back. It's been good to be back. It's good to be back making content, making gaming content. I hope you enjoyed that D&D map that came out a couple weeks ago. That's something I'm still really interested in doing, and there will be more of that on the channel. It's just kind of where I'm at in life. I really enjoy doing those. I love hand drawing those maps. We're going to try something a little different in the next one. But yeah, that's going to be a standard on the channel, is some D&D stuff. I'd love to share more of the world that I've built with you. But before we get too much off the rails, let's talk about what this is. This is Townscape. It just came out not too long ago, a couple days ago, and everyone and their brother that I know is playing this game. Everyone is playing it. Jonty's playing it. Silveret's playing it. A bunch of people on Bro Nation are playing it, and it's really cute. To call it a game is a bit of a stretch. If you've watched anyone else play this before on YouTube, you probably have heard them mention the same thing. There is no real goal, no real gameplay, no real end game. It's simply like a little digital toy where you can build a model town in this cute little style here. And it's all procedurally generated. Each left click of the mouse raises that specific tile up one, and each right click of the mouse lowers it by one down to water level. So you click it once to get land, you click it again to get a building, click the building again to get a second story, so on and so forth. And based on how you combine different levels and different layers and all that, you can get some really interesting results. So we're trying to create a little city here in my first serious attempt. I thought I'd record it and see what happens. We started off there with that ugly green. I should have picked a different color. I realized once I built it that I was like, oh, I don't like this color. We built a big ugly green church, but shape-wise, I think it looks pretty much like a church. Next, the other big thing we're going to build in this video is a castle. So there's no real strategy here. There's no real technique. There's some fiddling to do to figure out how to make sure that you don't get terraced areas, which you'll see right here. I'm starting to build. See how we can create terrace areas here by joining large chunks of similar sized tiles. But sometimes you don't want that. It does it without you wanting it, and so there's some tweaks and tricks of different roof lines and stuff it takes some getting used to. There's this whole thing with these overhangs, and you can make some cool archways and some different roof shapes and stuff like that. It's really, really neat, and there's a lot of possibilities here, I think. I don't think you're going to see too much more of this. This may be a one-off. I may do one more video with this where I try a different starting goal. Like I started with the church and kind of built from there. We might do something different if I make another one of these. I might not make another one of these. I don't know. Just kind of going with the flow. So I'm kind of going to let this time lapse go. Aside from the church here, it's basically just these blocks, these city blocks, and I try to make sure that we get courtyards in the middle of all of them, little gardens, and you do that by surrounding some open pavement there with building, and once you do that, it creates a courtyard. Anywho, back to what I was originally talking about, more drawing maps on the way, and also Planet Coaster is coming back to the channel. I am currently working on something for a friend, Redline. If you've been watching the Summerdale series, he's been helping me out a lot, and now the time has come to repay the favor. He was asking me if I wanted to help build in his park, and I gave him the big old yes. And then after my vacation, where I visited Dollywood, and video on that on the channel, I was so excited to get back into Planet Coaster, and I started, and I have some stuff going, but if you know me, you know it takes a while to get a video of Planet Coaster or Planet Zoo out. You know, it takes a couple while, several hours of building go into just one of those episodes. So patience, but Planet Coaster is coming back. Mike and I are dead set on making a proper Planet Coaster season, Bro Coaster Season 2. I can't say for sure what's going to happen to the Planet Zoo series we're doing. I don't know. I might not come back, but I don't think I'm 100% done with Zoo. I'm sure there will be a time where I pick it up, but I'm feeling some coasters and some theme parks. So I always said back in November when Planet Zoo first came out, Planet Coaster would be back on the channel, and it is. It's coming back, and I'm excited. Summerdale will eventually get finished. Redline currently has it. I gave it back to him while I work on his park. And so hopefully you'll have a video of my work for his park and his work for my park in the future. So yeah, that's kind of what you can expect for the last several months. Or for the next several videos. As far as what's been going on the last several months, it's been interesting ever since coronavirus hit. I assumed I would have lots and lots of free time, and so I would just be pumping out content. Something about this whole scenario just absolutely sucked the motivation to play games just completely out the window. I've mentioned it a little bit in other videos. I've mentioned it a little bit on community posts on the YouTube channel. I don't want to go into too much of it. But yeah, it took me, I think just sitting in the house and not going anywhere. And I can only be so inspired by looking things up online and Google Street View. The visit to Dollywood a couple weeks ago really got me excited and into the creative mindset that I've been using for other things, but now I want to get back to building in computer games. So yeah, I think I'm not sure, but I think you're going to be able to see an uptick, and hopefully there won't be as much wait in between videos. So I'm hopeful you're glad to be back. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be making content for you. It bums me out when I don't have anything to make for you, which is why I've been doing other things. I figured anything that I think is interesting enough to do and create, maybe you might find interesting too. So, and if you don't, totally cool. I understand. But yeah, I just thought it would be nice to do that. So what we're doing, let's get back to the actual video because I've been kind of ignoring it. We're going to be working on a castle here. I figured the church was cool, but let's go up another tier and let's make a castle on the water. And I was kind of in the back of my head thinking a little bit about the castle from the Disney's The Little Mermaid, like just vaguely. Because I remember like it's on the coast and it has this big fancy arch. And really, that's all I was thinking about. So if you're like, that looks nothing like the castle. Number one, I'm not sure if I could even do that in this game. Second of all, I was just thinking about it without actually looking at it at all. So if you're like, if it doesn't look quite like it, I'm okay with that. But actually, that kind of looks like the state of Texas, that little platform there. I figured it would be interesting to create a castle wall. I thought that'd be fun. So I did that, and again, here I am trying to fiddle and make sure that we get those roofs to actually be roofs and not a giant terrace area. I guess it could have worked as a street level, but whatever. But I loved that once this happened, I was like, oh crap, a giant lawn. And I think it's really cool because there's no other giant lawn like that in this little build. So I think it really helps separate it and show that it's fancy. And then it's just, let's just make some really tall buildings with some spires and just general kind of castle-y shapes ideas. So here's this big old, you'll see here, this big old arch that I'm gonna do. And I loved it. I thought it turned out so well. I was so happy with it. It was fun. I think it looks good. It's kind of silly to be hanging into the water like that, but I don't care. I think it's really cool. I'm a big fan. And actually, this was far too small of a footprint. As I go here, I realize this castle needs some more room to breathe, so we're gonna make it grow. But yeah, a lot of this castle idea, I'm an American, we don't have castles here. I've been to a handful of castles. But like just sort of, this is gonna sound dumb, but I've built a lot of 3D puzzles of castles. I have the Neuschwanstein, I think that's how you say it. I have that castle as a 3D puzzle. I've done some others. I've seen some castles, and so just kind of this tiered effect at the edges and spires, and tried to make it look like it's conceivable without being ridiculous. Like, actually, once I put this back end on the building, I think it looks better. I like it a lot. And again, more with these arches. I like them. I think if you go up if you have too big of an arch, it looks kind of hokey, and you might think, well, but for the minimal amount of control, for lack of a better word, there's not nearly as much control in this title as any other that I've played. So it's kind of like you're at the mercy of the game, of the grid, which you'll notice is all catterwampusy, which is super cool. It creates some really organic looking cities while still adhering to some semblance of a grid. But yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's good. I like it. So once the castle is done, or closer to done, I'm sorry for the camera being all over the place. I did try to keep it still, but man, my workflow just prohibits me from doing that. I keep moving the camera around and looking at different angles all the time. So apologies if you're like, oh, what's going on? I thought about filling this in, and I actually do go quite a bit with it before I delete a whole bunch of it, because some of the charm of this castle was it hanging over into the water. And by removing it, it took away from a lot of the charm of the castle. But I do eventually fix it, so... This little area here, if I remember correctly, is going to be some of the bigger buildings. I really tried to keep my buildings small and simple, except for the church and the castle, to really help them stand out. So I think it was successful in its attempt. So, oh, maybe that's not going to be a bigger area. Maybe that's not going to be a bigger area. No, it's on the other side. I do some other work. But I like these little simple houses here. So if you have this title, all you got to do is use the different colors right next to each other, and you'll get these little 1x1s. And that works really, really well. So what I've done here is a different approach here. Instead of just laying out a huge path, I decided to try and pre-plan the little city blocks a bit. Because I haven't had this for more than a day. But I think this was a good approach to get some nice results. So, but one of the things actually that I'm super psyched about with this quote game is I can let my kids play it. It's so simple. Even my 4-year-old, he doesn't really know what he's doing, but he comes in and he gives it a bunch of clicks, and he's really happy with what he can build. And my daughter, who is 6, is having a really fun time with it. We've been looking to get her into creative games like this. She's old enough now. I mean, I was in 1st grade when I got my Nintendo, and I think she's right at she's right at that age. And so I want to get her into gaming too, but I wasn't sure where to start. So first of all, if you've got suggestions that are for easy, simple games, kind of like this. Some friends of ours have suggested Minecraft. I'm not sure about that for my kiddos. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I'm super pumped that this is now something I can share with my family, and for me that means a lot. So they today, as soon as I was done, they hopped on and they built their own little city. It's adorable. I came back, there was like a 30-story tower. It's like this massive spire. So anyway, we are nearing the end of this video. I am putting in some finishing touches. I eventually put in a little entrance gate to kind of signify where you would enter this city. One of the things that I'm kind of curious about this is, could I make a map that works for Dungeons and Dragons, like just for giggles? Like I think I could. I think I could try it, and that might be something we try, or I try, whether I make a video of it or not. But yeah, that's gonna just about do it for this. So if you enjoyed this little video, go ahead and hit the like button for me, please, and consider subscribing and tell me what you think. Have you tried this out? what do you want to see? If there was more added to the game, what would you like to see? So some things for you to think about, and let me know down below. Like I said, glad to be back. Let me know if you're excited for Planet Coaster coming back on the channel. Let me know if you enjoyed the map series. What are your thoughts? Nice to be making content for everyone again. Hopefully we can stick with it. So with all that being said, you have yourself a great day, great night, great whatever, and I will see all of you for whatever's next on the channel. Talk to you later, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.